what, 7?
Exactly.
Or the kickoff? I forget what.
Both.
Oh, it's tip-off tonight.
Both, yeah. Good. Good evening, everyone, and welcome. We will call the meeting to order. Approval of the 9/13/16 minutes. Would someone care to make a motion?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion of those minutes? Larry's looking very...
No, I had something underlined in here, but I think I addressed it later on, so I'm not gonna bring it up. Okay, no discussion.
Any discussion?
None for me.
If not, all in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion passed.
Page turned.
City Council liaison report. Councilman
That would be
Baca.
me.
Yeah.
A couple of short items, of course, referencing item J, the discussion on you folks' part for the joint council and planning commission meeting. This is something that's been in limbo for a long time, and I, for one, and I know Otto Schmidt and the rest of the council welcomed it along with the mayor. It needs to be done. It'll make for a more harmonious neighborhood. Second, following along in those same lines, Councilman Schmidt at the last council meeting talked about this very same subject and emphasized the importance of resurrecting the EDA, which has been defunct for a long time, and in my single opinion, far too long. It was it helped a lot the city grow and then went stagnant and remains so. So I think that's a very good idea. We'll all get a chance to discuss that. I have nothing else,
Thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Any questions of Councilman Baca?
Well, remind us, what is EDA? I saw it on the other.
Economic Development Association.
Commission.
Commission.
No, it's A, it's gotta be associated.
Authority. EEC. Oh, no, authority, that's it.
Yeah, okay.
Authority, you're right.
I just wanted to add that we found a replacement for the finance specialist position. Gal by the name of Carrie Jacobson. She's coming to us from Hayward, Minnesota, but she was a clerk treasurer in Keister, Minnesota for 14 years. And she's an accountant, good background. She's got election judge training. So I think she'll be a big help in that regard moving forward. And then secondly, we did recommend approval of the agreement for sharing services with the township winter and summer with Ideal Township. They will be doing now Graff Sunset and also on the Key Road. We'll be doing Turkey Trails and then a portion of Michigan Trail. So it's sharing of services, a little different than the last time we went around with this, but I think it'll work out fine.
Great. Any questions? Comments? If not, we'll move on to the next agenda item, which is open forum number 1. And I will open forum number 1. Would anyone like to speak during open forum number 1? The application of the variance is next, so after this. If not, we'll close.
Might it be an idea to, because especially when a lot of people are here, explain what open forum number 1
probably
is?
would be a good
And then, because
idea.
somebody said, well, do I go down here, or do I go now, and what can I bring up, and so on. It wouldn't be bad just to kind of remind people, and us.
Joe, you could probably do a better job of explaining that than me.
It's just an opportunity for the public to say whatever they feel is pertinent before the planning commission, and you guys can consider it. It can be on any subject that's typically not on the agenda. It can be in comments to the agenda, but if there's a public hearing, you reserve your comments for that time.
Good. Thank you.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, good idea, Larry. That, we should do that. Yes, sir. Maybe you could say your name and address.
Okay. Am I on?
I think so.
Maury Wallers, 8871 Birch Lane. In regards to the Mark's application for the public hearing there, next item on the agenda. I wonder how many of you don't have a garage? That's a good question. It's tough to, any house now being built, they got 2, 3 garages even. Storage is a big thing. And cabins are small, place to store lawnmowers, bicycles, you name it. Just storage. So I'm in favor of that agenda item on the list there. Thank you.
Okay, we will close open forum number 1 and move to that agenda item, public hearing to consider a variance application by Michael Marks. I will open that public hearing and ask the applicant, are you Michael? Okay. Ask the applicant if you would like to inform us, make a little presentation to us.
I'm Mike Marks. I own a property along with my wife at 29622 Lakeshore Drive. We are requesting a variance to build a garage attached to the existing structure that was built in 1964, which by today's standards is too close to the front step back and also too close to the side step back to build the garage without a variance. We're looking at a relatively smallish garage, basically for storage of lawn maintenance equipment, keep things secure and safe. The existing front of the cabin to which we'd like to attach the garage is approximately 45 feet from the road setback. So we're requesting to build up to 15 feet from the road setback, or from the property line. Also, the existing cabin is approximately 5 feet from the side setback today. Today's standards are 10 feet. We'd like to match the side of the existing building for the garage as well, which would require a variance of 6 feet and 15 feet. So currently, when we come up just about every weekend with family, we have to clean out the main area of the cabin, which has our maintenance equipment, lawn tools, gas cans, etc., to enjoy the property, and also to keep the lawns mowed and keep the property maintained in the current standard that it is. So that's the reason that I would like to build a garage. In addition, obviously, we wouldn't have to haul the truck up here with lawnmowers in the back. We'd be able to enjoy rides up here on motorcycles, keep them secured at night. And also bicycles, etc. Your typical garage type of storage. So that's what I'm requesting the variance for. Any questions?
Question
I live
five?
right up the road, and I do see your motorcycle sitting out there all in the summertime, so I can see what you're looking at, but I guess that's the comment,
Any other questions of Michael?
Not at this time.
Okay. Anything else, Michael?
Not at the moment.
Okay, good deal.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for your consideration.
Joe, will you be doing the staff review? Sure.
As Mr. Marks said, his property is located at 29622 Lakeshore Drive. It's on lot 46, the fourth edition of Breezy Point Estate. It's zoned R2 and it's a Seward property. The variance request is constructing a garage of 18 by 24 feet, 6 feet from the side yard and 15 feet from the road right-of-way. Required setbacks are 30 feet from the road right-of-way and 10 feet from the side setback. As he indicated, the house was built before the standards, so it's a legal non-conforming use. Technically, the variance request would also have to include an expansion to the non-conforming use. So we're looking at 3 issues in that regard. Staff recommendation is to deny the request. No practical difficulty exists with the property. There are no existing unusual circumstances. The proposed ordinance or variance, would alter the essential character of the area.
Thank you. Questions of,
like I said, I'm probably gonna abstain from voting. If right up the road, and I feel like
Okay.
the one.
Peggy, any questions?
No, I don't.
Larry?
Not at this point.
Okay. Carol?
I'd just like to ask him, have you pursued any other options that you could use for storage of, bikes and lawnmowers and such?
So, we have considered building a shed or a garage on the backside of the property. We don't have access to the backside of the property, so that would alleviate us from parking vehicles back there without traversing the neighbor's backyard. As far as lawn equipment, that would suffice for lawn equipment. However, it would also impede the neighbors' view of the lake, because their windows, their primary windows, look right at the south side of our lot line.
Any other comments, questions? If not, are there any public statements? I guess you did that during open forum number one. Anything else? Public statements?
No, I think they pretty well covered it all.
Okay.
What else can you do? A lot built years ago, and perhaps kind of what the future this day and age, and I think we need to move ahead with that.
Did I see correctly that there is a parcel right next to you that's for sale?
That was sold,
Oh, okay.
was at the last auction approximately 6 weeks ago. August.
Okay.
It's staked out though, isn't it? Isn't there survey stakes in there?
Yep, they have surveyed their lot, we've also surveyed our lot and the two to the right side.
Sure.
I guess that would be the west of
Sure.
us.
Okay.
That was part of the requirement to submit the variance was to have the survey done.
Sure.
So that survey's on that side of the notice.
Yeah. I would imagine that would have been an expensive lot to purchase to build a garage.
I think an $130,000 piece of land just for a garage
Yes.
was out of my budget.
Yes.
He
As
couldn't,
much as I'd love it to be in my budget, it's just not in the cards.
Yeah, that's
he
pretty.
couldn't actually bought that lot and put a garage on it without living structure in it, right?
As long as
You're gonna have to combine
they
them.
consolidated it.
If you consolidated two
Yeah.
lots, you would be, yeah.
Okay, if there are no other comments or questions, we'll close the public hearing and move to the next agenda item, which is the commission taking action on this application. And as usual, we do have a memo from Jerry and a resolution, proposed resolution. And I would ask you, as we always do, if you have reviewed the considerations that we need to take when we take action on a variance application. Have each of you reviewed those considerations? They're contained in Jerry's memo to us.
I have.
Okay. Carol? Okay. Peggy? Roger? Okay. Are we ready to take action?
I'd like to ask Joe a question. Sure. There's a comment here, note to the planning commission. If the planning commission should determine that a 30-foot ROW setback in the R2 Seward area is excessive, commission should initiate revisions to the ordinance. Okay, tell me what you're thinking there.
Well, it's just that we've got a 30-foot setback in just about every neighborhood, for every district from the right-of-way. We start making deviations from that 30-foot setback, there's going to be a groundswell of people wanting to do the same. And houses were built with a 30-foot setback throughout the city. And if you're going to make those kind of considerations, it might be more appropriate to make a change in the ordinance than grant multitudes of variances for people in all over. And that's kind of the concern. Anytime you've got changes that seem to reappear and reappear and reappear, then maybe your ordinance needs some changes. And that's what he's suggesting, that if you're going to make those changes, you might want to consider that.
Okay, so looking at that neighborhood, driving down Lakeshore Drive, which I did do today, just ballpark figure, how many of those houses, if they wanted to put something else on, would need a variance?
Almost all. Almost all of them were built to a 30-foot setback or thereabouts. I mean, there's some that are 40 feet back, there's some that are, I don't know, in that neighborhood of 45 feet, 30 to 45 feet setback from the right of way. So if somebody wanted to build up front, it would require a variance.
Jill, I would assume the garage that belongs to your neighbor is a non-conforming garage.
It probably is. I'm sure it was built prior to the code. It's a legal non-conforming use, it can stay. But, once the code's been established, we've been pretty firm about that.
It's kind of the problem we're running into with, a lot of non-conforming structures that have been put in through no fault of anybody's at the time. But when new standards get created, then exactly that's the problem. Do we continue to multiply the issue by granting variances, or do we just say, we're really sorry, but we have a standard and we need to adhere to it? And I don't know the answer to that. I'm asking, I guess.
Well, I mean, you might want to think too about what's 30 feet from the right of way. I mean, granted, the road isn't typically built to the edge of the right of way, but you've got parking, you've got safety concerns of traffic and seeing, people going by and that sort of thing. And those are reasons for a front yard setback. And so it's part of that thought that you need to think about when you're reviewing these findings as to whether or not it's an appropriate use or an appropriate variance, excuse me.
Mr. Chair,
Yes,
may I make a comment?
absolutely.
As a council member, and only speaking for myself, I would agree wholeheartedly with the administrator's observations. And were I to vote on this, I would also vote to deny it for all the reasons that were discussed. 2 planning commissions, 3 terms on planning commissions, and we fought this battle forever and ever and ever, folks wanting a variance, and in many cases, very understanding, and one comes to mind that I'll never forget. I won't even discuss that, but the ordinance needed to be changed. And if we are going to change our ordinance to allow folks to come in to get a variance to build closer to the right of way, if you will. Personally, I see nothing but trouble down the road. Next 4 or 5 years, maybe not, but long after I'm gone and you aren't sitting in those chairs any longer, it's a difficult position to take, but you've got to take, you have to take what's right for all, rather than one. All I can say, change the ordinance or leave it as is and enforce it.
Were you on the commission, Councilman Bakken, when the ordinance of 30-foot setback was established?
Can't remember?
Okay.
It's been a long time.
The ordinance was
Totally
established in
irrelevant.
63, and I have not
No,
done that.
no, I was not. I didn't, I graduated.
That long?
Well, I don't know when the 30-foot front setback
No,
was, but it's been
but
fairly
I remember vividly the very same situations, and your heart just
Yeah.
breaks. My neighbor on Shoreview Lane, he said, Gary, I'm not even gonna go up and ask. He said, I know what the answer will be. I explained the same reasons to him. He agreed. And he's even closer than this gentleman with his garage, but it's grandfathered in. So, that's my one private opinion.
My turn.
There.
I can take it. I'm going to a degree, echo what Gary said too. The ordinance was put in place for a reason. The 30-foot is not unreasonable. If you go, well, okay, we're going to change it to 15. Well, then the next guy wants 10, and the next guy wants 5, and the next guy wants to build it across the street. 30 feet's not unreasonable. You buy the property, you can see that there's, it doesn't have a garage, and if you needed a garage, then you look at other alternatives. And as Joe pointed out, safety's part of the feature, blocks the view, blocks, air movement. There's a lot of reasons why the 30 feet is better. Number one, closer than 30 feet basically trashes up a neighborhood. If you've got a bunch of houses that are sitting up close and a bunch of them sitting back, because not everybody's going to want to, build further up and not. One of the questions on practical difficulties, can this property be used with reasonable conditions as it is? And yeah, it can. There are other options. I think what we brought up too is a maintenance shed or storage shed or whatever it is on the back side of the property. A garage that's 9 feet from the house, short one, in front could fit in for if you wanted to put in a motorcycle, maybe some utilities. So there are some other options. You can't get a car in there, but you could use it for other storage, including a motorcycle and a lawnmower and a snow shovel and whatever. So there are some things that can be done. The real problem, and we've, not even that long ago, we have denied other properties who wanted to build out close to the road, and we said, no, there were safety issues. You can't start treating everybody different. This property really isn't any different than hundreds of other properties.
Exactly.
So if 15 feet is what people want, or 10 feet or 5 feet, I think, we might as well, live in the big city in New York and have everything built right up against the sidewalk. I don't think we want that. So I support what the administration has recommended, that there are some other options that can be handled, and giving a variance basically on 3 grounds to me is not practical.
Thank you, Larry. Carol, did you have any comments?
No, my only comment might be that even if we decided that 30 feet was too much, I don't think we would want to change it to more than 20 feet, which would give them 10 more feet. I don't know if that would be any help or not in those houses, but I don't think that we should go any less than that.
What's wrong with 30?
Nothing's wrong with 30.
Why change it?
Well, you've got
I
a
mean,
good point.
you don't change
Yeah.
it just for one incident or 2 incidents and so on. What's good for the city long-term for everybody, and that's kind of what we're looking at.
No, I agree with all the things that you said.
I mean, it'd be nice to be nice to everybody and say, this is a little house on the prairie, and we don't have any ordinance of any kind, do whatever you want, but we're growing, and we can't everybody can do whatever they want all the time.
Thank you. Peggy?
I'm good.
Okay. Roger?
Yeah, I'm good.
Is someone prepared to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that the request for the variances be denied.
Motion has been made. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Discussion of that motion. Any discussion of that motion?
Oh, wait, before you go, could you go through the findings one by one, and starting with number 2, because 1 and 2 are the same?
Joe, since you're looking at them, do you want to do that
Sure.
real quickly?
Weigh in on these. Strict interpretation of the ordinance would be impractical because of circumstances relating to the lot size, shape, topographic, or other characteristics of the property not created by land law. Any problems with that? Anyone? Number 3, the deviation from the ordinance with any attached conditions will still be in keeping with the spirit and intent of the ordinance. Do you find that acceptable or not in granting a variance? Anybody want to speak out? Okay, the land use created by the variance is permitted in the zoning district where the property is located. That is acceptable. The variance will not alter the essential character of the locality. What's the commission's thoughts about that one?
Right now, I don't think there's a lot of other protrusions into the street, so I would say that it does change the character.
Okay.
Can I comment on that?
Sure.
One of the things on this particular street, the edge of the street, and I understand the right of way is 30 feet setback for safety reasons, but the street is currently 25 to 27 feet from the front property line today, the paved road. So the safety concern, and I fully support the safety issues, without a doubt. I have young children, and I understand completely. So I just want to make that comment.
If I can respond, there's 60 feet of right-of-way in every street in town.
Yeah.
So this is not an unusual circumstance for that road. And we have a 30-foot or 35-foot setback throughout the city. And then finally, the variance is not for economic reasons alone, but reasonable use of the property does not exist under the ordinance. There is a reasonable use, it's being used as a home.
Thank you, Joe. Any comments, concerns on any of those conditions?
What if I could make one more comment?
Yes.
It appears to me the way, when they put the road in, and where the road right-of-way is, I don't foresee that road being extended to the road right-of-way. So there's quite a bit of distance there between the edge of the road and the road right-of-way, which kind of makes for a longer driveway. Which is in favor of front setback, I would say.
Any,
Some roads are built, the roads has been moved over right up to the property line corner or somewhere. In this particular case, he's got extra room there.
Also, as towns develop, though, you might start getting to a point where the roads widen to be improved, maybe gutters and sidewalks put in, and so that they do need all that space for possible expansion of the road too. I'm sure it's not in the city's plan now, but down the road, we don't know.
Well, we don't know, no. I mean,
And that's why the right-of-ways are there too.
the right-of-ways hold your utilities, they could hold storm sewers, they could hold curb and gutter and parking in the future. You know, the right-of-ways are there for the public's use, whatever that might be in the future.
any further discussion of the motion? If not, all in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Motion passed. Sorry.
Sorry.
I'll take a copy of that when we're done, get it filled out and such. Bet.
Thank you. We will move to the next agenda item, which is a public hearing on the ordinance amendment regulating animal husbandry within the city of Breezy Point. Joe, would you go ahead with the staff review?
Yep, just give me a second here. We've had a lot of discussion about this ordinance, and at the last meeting, there was a request to convert those ideas into ordinance language, and I've done that with ordinance 1604. And rather than go through the ordinance in entirety, I thought I'd just kind of go over the summary that I provided you for the meeting. Section 1 provides for a license from the kennel to require an interim use for 4 or more dogs or cats. Section 2 changes definitions. In agricultural use, we're deleting livestock. In animal husbandry, we're requiring a 5-acre minimum. Animal units was changed to eliminate production of waste and get into number of animals. It also reiterates the fact that 5 acres is needed rather than 1 for that threshold. In section 3, it adds the definitions from kennels. This definition is from state statute. Section 4 deletes animal husbandry as a conditional use and an interim use in the R1 district. Section 5 deletes animal husbandry in the R2 district. Section 6 deletes animal husbandry in the R3 district. Section 7 deletes animal husbandry in estate lots as a conditional use permit, but it adds it as an interim use requiring 5 acres or more. Section 8 deletes animal husbandry as an allowed use in wooded residential and converts it to an interim use, again requiring 5 acres or more. Section 9 changes the allowed use in a urban reserve district for animal husbandry with a 5-acre minimum standard. Section 10 that would deletes one of the 2 animal husbandry clauses, and it provides that 1 animal unit on 5 acres on parcels between 5 and 10 in the urban reserve district. Section 11 changes the requirement to a minimum of 5 acres in the commercial district. Section 12 then addresses the changes in the chart, and the chart was included so you can see what those changes are. And then Section 13 makes it a general nuisance for the slaughtering of animals, and then 14 is the effective date. So, any questions that I can help answer with those?
Questions? We spent a lot of time on this, and Carol and Larry especially spent a lot of time on this. I thank
Oh,
everyone.
I missed the last meeting, the one before that. Yeah.
It's covered pretty good. I said it looks like it's covered pretty good. I mean, it looks,
Carol, from your perspective, I mean, we acted in your absence. Were the changes that were proposed work out in your mind?
I think so, yes.
Okay.
In all of that, we did take some of Peggy's concerns into huge considerations because we made big compromises, and hopefully to bring Peggy on board with this, I know she doesn't agree 100% with it, but maybe she can at least agree somewhat with us.
Well put.
It was a bipartisan effort.
Yes. Well, city council was represented, and so I think we have the council, at least 40% of the council on board.
Are we prepared to move on this?
I'm going to make a comment. I'm sorry, Larry, to
That's okay.
break your heart here. I think you guys did a good job. I told you that last time, and, you know, I see how the lay of the land goes, and I think the changes have been really good ones. I guess the problem I still have is I look at what's happened in this community, and it's a residential community. It's gone that direction for the last 20 years at least. I look at what the comprehensive plan has named the zoning districts: wooded residential, estate lot residential. Even the urban reserve has the word urban in it, knowing that ultimately what's agricultural area is probably going to be an urban by the strictest definition, I guess. I understand the sustainability issue, and people want to have animals for sustainability. We've taken the slaughtering out with, you know, the changes that were made there. I just really have a hard time with large farm animals on a residential street, in a residential yard. You know, chickens and geese, I can at least see a need for them or an understanding of them. However, last night on the 10 o'clock news, I don't know if any of you saw it, but there was a big issue with some communities that are finding that chicken coops are, they're becoming a health hazard. I think those are the kind of things we're opening ourselves up to here by having an ordinance that allows the farm animals. You know, especially cows and swine, though there's the two because they're much larger. I don't know that the average person coming in who might want to have a farm animal really understands the work, number one, that it is, doesn't understand the health issues. Who's going to be the enforcer, the inspector, if somebody decides to bring in these animals on their property. I think it's opening up a nuisance factor that the city's ultimately going to have to deal with if we have very many people who decide they want to have farm animals on their lots. Certainly the restriction that is put in place now with 5 acres is a lot better than what it was before. There's no question about it. Speaking just from my own point of view, I cannot vote for this because I don't think we should have animals in residential districts. Kennels, cats and dogs at least are considered domesticated animals. The others are not, and I don't see the need for them. If you move into a community and you want to have sustainability, there is room in this community to do it on a different piece of property. It doesn't have to be on residential property. So I just want to make that statement for the book. I think you guys did a great job. I think you've, you know, come up with as reasonable a compromise as possibly can be done. I just don't see farm animals as a way of life in a residential community. So, just my opinion.
Thank you, Peggy.
My whole opinion, I mean, how many 10-acre lots are in Breezy? I've asked that question a couple times, and there's gotta be a number of them, huh?
There's quite a few in there. If you kind of look up the map, the green areas are your urban reserve, the dark greens.
Right.
You've got your estate lots and others, and you can see the size of the parcels. There's not a huge number of 10-acre parcels, but there are quite a number of 5s and 20s and that sort of thing.
As we discussed last week or last month too, is that any 5 acre, you only get one cow or one horse, and the size of 5 acres is roughly 2 Major League Baseball fields. So I mean, it's a big area for this animal to be in, and again, it's not like everybody's gonna rush out and get a horse or a cow. We might get 2 or 3 over the next 10 years, but I don't think I don't think we've created a problem. In fact, we've closed a huge door that was open before.
And they're all interim.
And we have
And that's-
interim use, so you put in standards if there are some kind of concerns with what somebody's going to be
Right.
doing.
Could I say just one word? I was part of that discussion team. The interim use permit is, that's the reason we focused on that. You violate the law, you cause a problem for your neighbor, it's gone. That one horse or that one cow is gone. I personally don't want to deny somebody that privilege. And we went, I think, a very tight control of that. One cow, one horse, I see no problem with that. And the comp plan's coming up too, so. A lot of discussion on this, but it was closed tighter than what I personally felt. However, after listening to the discussion and the exchange of ideas, I had to agree with it. It made sense to me. At least we can allow somebody to have an animal if they want, as long as you got a lot of room. Pretty strict, I think. And I would vote for it. I voted for it. So.
Is someone prepared to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the proposals written up by Joe as stated.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. We've done a pretty good job of discussing it already, but I'll ask the question, any discussion of the motion?
Where's the motion number? No discussion. I'm just wondering what the motion number is.
Okay, we'll vote on that motion. All in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Motion passed.
Nay.
Yep.
I thought you were going to abstain.
He almost got by you. Extension.
And on the committee, I want to certainly thank Joe and Jerry, who's not here, and Gary, and Mike, and Carol. So I think we worked
Oh, God,
hard
we've
on
been
those things.
fighting this
And
for
I think, I agree with
20
Gary.
years.
We went a little further than I wanted to, but I was willing to do it to get the thing done.
And you convinced me. You
This really didn't
that
come
that
up
needed
until
to
we
go that
approved
far.
that sheep thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was, he convinced me.
Yeah. Yes, tough issue. I think we did a good job. Thank you all. Yes. Next item on the agenda is a variance extension request. Joe, could you describe that briefly?
Sure. Back in February of this year, we adopted a resolution granting a variance for Wren Drive. It's an expansion of a non-conforming structure. You may recall this is a property owner that wanted to put a garage out to the right-of-way from their property off of Wren Drive, but also proposed an addition in the back of their L of their structure. the parties sort of got lost in the decision. They understood the denial of the garage, but they thought that the addition was denied too. And it was reminded that, no, that was okay, and you don't have to apply for a variance for that. And so they sort of lost track of time as well. They would appreciate a extension of the variance to May of 2017.
Do we have a motion to extend this application?
We have the motion now, or discuss it now.
Well, Robert's rules
Sales.
preferably has a motion and
Okay.
then discussion. So preferably we have a motion and then we'll discuss it.
All right, I'll make the motion.
Okay, we
I'll
have a
second.
motion and we have a second discussion, Larry.
Well, okay. Are we in discussion? Joe, you already answered the basic questions I had. You know, in your deal, it says technically expired. What the hell does that mean? It's expired or it's not expired, isn't it?
I don't know why Jerry wrote that, but
Okay, well, we'll give it to Jerry, there we go.
Either it is or it isn't.
Yeah, okay. Then, and I noticed in this proposed drawing, it said it was going to remove a shed over there, but I presume that's not gonna happen now?
whatever's in the resolution is gonna happen, and frankly, I have to apologize, I don't remember what this said, but
In the little itty bitty print that I used with a magnifying glass to read, it said, you know, proposed to be removed, but I think that was gonna be removed if we gave them the garage, I think. And so when we denied the garage, I think they said, we're keeping our shed. I'm guessing, but I don't know, he's not here. And I don't think it matters, because the neighbor's got a shed, looks like it's closer than the 10 feet also.
I don't know how to answer your question.
Okay.
That's the first.
Further discussion? Any further-
Again, this is kind of, I mean, is this usual that people have to come back a second time because they let it go?
We haven't had a lot of people come back and request variance requests. There was another variance that we granted down on Piney Way. They came in on the last day and filled out a building permit application. So it does happen periodically. I haven't seen it a lot in Breezy Point, but in other cities I have. There's been numerous times where they've asked for their extension. It's allowed in the ordinance. It's not a problem to have one request. After that, they have to make reapplication and start over.
Which is another fee.
Yep.
So what he's looking at is waive the fee, is, I guess he's asking.
Well, it's an extension of the extension of the variance that was granted. You can
Yeah.
have one extension. After that, it is dead, and you have to start
Does
over.
does it say that you're allowed one extension?
Yes.
Okay, because I would make a condition that there be no more extensions either, but it's automatic, all right.
But once you get the building permit, don't you have a limited amount of time to complete it?
You do and you don't. A building permit is good for 180 days, but if you make substantial progress, in other words, if you make inspections and you're going through the problem, every time you have an inspection, you get another 180 days towards the next step. So sometimes a building can take 4 or 5 years, not many, but they're still in compliance. If they've done nothing within that 180 days, the building permit is void. You can get one extension on a building permit as well, but that's it. Then you gotta start over just like this.
And the truth of the matter is, right now, it's very difficult to get workmen to come to your house, let me tell you about it.
Yes, yes.
So,
And deer hunting is
Oh my
going to be
gosh,
opening
yes.
soon, so.
They'll be unemployed, you still can't find workers.
No, crazy.
Any further discussion?
I was just wondering, why was this addition, why'd that need a variance to start with? I can't remember why,
because it's a non-conforming use.
Yeah,
but it's within the setback.
but you
It's an
can't make an
expansion.
expansion.
It's an expansion of a non-conforming use.
Oh, that's right, it's a non-conforming, all right. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Any more discussion? If not, all in favor of that motion, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same? Motion passed. Discussion of the joint city council planning commission meeting.
Just put it on your calendar that we're going to meet on October 24th at 7 p.m. The ideas expressed here have been expressed by both the Planning Commission and the Council. The Council was also asked to give additional ideas to me, and I forwarded those to Tom Lillihei, who's putting together the agenda for the meeting. And I know we can't talk about everything that's been brought up, so there'll probably be more than one meeting. Second meeting is proposed in April, and at that meeting, we wanted to invite the Cemetery Commission and also the Park Board. And so have a larger group discussion about other issues. Any questions or concerns?
No, except I'm really glad we're doing this, and I really think it should become a regular part of.
Something that's
You're on a
never been
P-
done.
You're on a P and Z, you're gonna have some extra meetings, end of story. I mean, we
Yeah.
really need to do that.
Well, Tom was real committed. He wanted to do it every 3 months, and I said, let's just get one under our belt and.
See how it goes.
Well, I mean, because there's so many ideas expressed, let's kind of sort
Right.
things out and get
Right.
one started. And so he agreed to 2 in 6 months' time, and then after that, we'll see how often we want to meet. We'll have another discussion about that. So,
Just getting to know each other, and
Yep.
if that improves
Well, it's
communication and
never been done
understanding.
in my,
yeah.
in my history here, and
Close to
that's
none.
30 years. And
This isn't too dissimilar to, we used to have what we called workshops, but it was only the planning and zoning, but maybe 6 of them a year, we got together, we picked topics just like this. We just didn't invite city council.
Yeah, I know.
well, we're gonna set up the tables in a big.
Oh, I think it's a wonderful
and,
idea.
Everybody gets to sit around and talk.
Coffee and donuts?
I hadn't thought about
afternoon.
City
donuts.
buys.
Cookies and beer.
It's at 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock coffee.
7
might not
o'clock.
be good either, but
Prime rib, red wine.
how about cookies and water?
It's a compromise.
All right. Anyway, that's where we're going with that.
Sounds good. And this was initiated by the council? correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, great, great.
Are we going to get copies of the agenda before the meeting or not?
That's the plan. I've been.
Yeah,
Tom's in-
Councilman Schmidt and the mayor were very vocal on it, and I think it's just a wonderful idea. It's long overdue.
Tom is in Seattle as well, and I've been kind of bugging him a little bit by emails. We need this. I talked to him before he left. He understands that the group needs to have the agenda before the meeting.
He's probably coming back about the 24th, huh?
He's coming back on the 22nd.
22nd, yeah.
Anything else that needs to be discussed tonight?
No discussion, just a comment. It was a good meeting tonight. Hard decisions were made, but I think I supported all the decisions made, and this is a great planning commission. As new as it is, I see some wonderful things here.
That's good to hear. It
Won't get you any more money, but
feels that way. It
Good.
feels like we've
What do you got,
got.
you got to recommend raise, is that the city council?
if I were up to me, it'd all be paid, believe me.
I think we have potential, just like the Vikings.
Yeah.
We're 5-0, I don't think
No,
we're.
Yeah, open forum number 2, would,
Roy Wallers, 8871 Birch Lane, Breezy Point. Just refresher, Joe. Did we have somebody that had goats, was it? Or what was it?
Sheep.
Sheep? Was it sheep? Maybe it was.
Sheep and
But
chickens.
it seemed like they were reproducing very fast, and he was getting more than what he thought he was getting, up to 50 or something, or what was it?
He requested 50, I think the commission gave him up to 40. His
Yes.
intent is to
Yes.
not really get more than 25, but he has lambing, and you don't know how many
Yeah.
you're gonna have lambing and that sort of thing.
Exactly.
And then he's supposed to
So
sell.
how many, did your resolution solve that issue or not? Did it address that issue?
The property is zoned, estate lots residential, and he has 20, I think it's 20.
20 acres.
And so it would be real close to those quantities, but I frankly haven't sat down and did the math.
Yeah, so Otto was pretty uptight about that particular person that was having that.
I've driven by there. I've never seen any sheep out there.
Thank you.
Yeah, 20, you can have 20 sheep per 5 acres. You can have 80 sheep.
He didn't, and he didn't want that. He stated that
Yeah.
emphatically several times in the.
I think part of the issue with that particular site too was the fact that it was real vague about how exactly and when that became ELR. If you look at a map, it doesn't make sense. And so it was kind of a question of, okay, when did that happen? Was it a zoning change? I mean, when exactly did it happen?
There was a zoning change, it was recommended as a comp plan, the last comp plan review. It was previously zoned agriculture, and it was done probably, I guess, 2 years after the comp plan was adopted, and that's just.
And that was just an individual?
No, we changed all the districts throughout the city.
Oh, yeah, I'm aware of that, but I mean, that one piece of property, why did that one,
Oh, I can't, I don't remember.
yeah. I think that was the big question.
Okay, we'll close open forum number 2. And with everyone's agreement, I will adjourn the meeting.
I agree.
Good deal.
Larry, I'm supposed to tell you that you were a pretty decent paperboy.
Decent at what?
Paperboy.
How did you know? Because I had a huge trouble.
Feel a little bad tonight.
Lynn O'Neill. I don't know what her maiden name was, but she ran into Mary recently. She was in town, she was up here last week. Their church did an auction